So, Shan, we have already, I think, rolled out 2 to 3 features, and I think 4 to 5 are still in the pipeline. But I just want to know, what is your favorite feature with the entire Chosenly 2.0 launch, and why?
Finally, I get to talk about this, right? So, a lot of people have started seeing conversions roll in, traffic roll in, or just like like CEOs will do the search and say, okay, we didn't show up, and people prioritize it, right? And once they do, their teams go ahead and either get a tool or don't, but start working on this. Now,
Right.
everyone except from chosenly customers focus on two things. Either they're looking at, or three actually. Either they're doing some outreaches, right? Again, Chosenly has great features to make it easier, but some people try to do that without Chosenly. Or you'll try and create content, edit content. That's second one. And third one, some people actually try to do some tech stuff, which is not even that important. But those are the three things people focus on. The problem is all those three only focus on the first half of LLM search. LLM search can be broken down into the search feature, which where content creation or outreach helps you get information to the LLM, and then the LLM part of it, where LLMs actually take all the information they got from the search part and then recommend you or not. It's broken down into two parts. The second part is what we've solved for, and Chosenly is the only platform that solved for it. And yeah, it's the coolest feature ever, right? It's closest to product marketing. That's my favorite one.
Can you
Should I? Yeah, of course. Let me show it. I was looking forward to this. Right, just a little bit of context. You can look at any prompt that you can look at prompts that you would do on ChatGPT, Perplexity, any of them. Let me share my screen for this one. Right, you can take those prompts, and they can either be very simple like top HRM solution, or they can even be a entire paragraph like this. Right, it could be like, hey, I'm a CFO at a fintech company based in Europe. We have 7 people in a finance team, X is our ERP. So the prompts could look like this. Or like the prompts could also, like again, another way, this context. So you're adding context to the search. You can add this context either by one prompt, or you could have started with that, hey, you know what, help me select the best HRM platform, or help me select between Bamboo HR and Zoho people. And then you could have asked a follow-up question that, these features are important for us. Or you could have said that, hey, we are based in US. So you can add more context to it later on, right? Or so it doesn't have to be one large prompt, it could have been a conversation.
got it?
Or the third thing you could do is you could also maybe, like, the LMs can pull stuff from your history. Like if they know that you work at a B2B SaaS company, maybe they know that you are a demand gen manager, it will pull that context from the history of your ChatGPT conversations, and it adds that context to the prompt. That could be another way to get context added to the prompts. Once all this context is there, so you can never have a list of these searches,
Yeah.
right? You could either it could be like this. Not a it's not like SEO where you have a list of searches, because again there could be paragraphs which again you're not getting access to. But also, even if the paragraphs don't exist, that could have been a conversation. What should, like, who's going, like, what will that data look like? Or it can be even pulling in context from your chat history. Like no one's going, like, how do you even get that? You will never get that. But if you take any bottom of the funnel high purchase intent prompt and you broke it down, you can break it down into criteria. Like LMs here are looking for proof that, hey, are you a good fit for CFOs, fintech companies? Do you have GDPR if you're in Europe? Do you have integration with ERPs, budgets? It's looking for proof for all of these things to be true. Now the fun part about this is, um, LMs might also have their own beliefs. There is one stuff that people write and get pulled in from their chat history, and then there is their beliefs. What our feature does, and let me show you, it pulls in all of these beliefs, right? So the feature looks like this. We would have asked our clients who their personas are, who their competitors are. We would know all of this stuff. And then based on that, our feature would automatically pull in that, hey, what do LLMs believe are important features, important criteria based on which they would recommend or not a product, right? Or a company. Now, this is automatically pulled by our software, right? By Chosenly. Now, based on this entire map again, because blurred out, it's a little hard to understand, how to see, but it's basically, this is all color coded. So green is one of your competitors, blue is us, red is another competitor, orange is a third, yet another competitor. It's all color coded. Like different companies are different. Different companies are color coded in different colors. So you can at a glance see that, hey, you know what? These are the different. These are all the different companies that are the top recommendation for this persona for this criteria, right? So you can say, okay, for engineering leaders, for customization, we are the top recommendation. Using this information, what you can now start doing is you can say, you know what, um, I think I genuinely believe that I have a shot. There will be some places where you have a right to win, essentially, right? You're saying, hey, you know what, for Gunika, why don't you give me an example, right? Let's say, which one should I look at? It
Uh,
gives you reasoning, right? Like, hey, why is this a top recommendation? Give me one.
let's go for platform and developer experience under support and community.
Okay, support in community, maybe.
Yeah, this.
Okay, right. Let's look at this, right? So let's say for head of platforms, right? For these job titles, this is the reasoning it's given why we are not the top recommendation, because they're actively engaging and they have some documentation, right? That's why they believe the some community and support is better, right? But then the truth could be that, hey, you know what, I believe we actually have an entire community, we also engage, we actually engage more than them. There could be other reasoning also, right? So okay, let's say this is something I believe we do better than them. That's not true. Another could be, let's say, customer support or something. Like, what else should I look at?
User management features.
Okay, let's say I pick up user management, right? This is could be another thing, and then let's say I also pick up this one, right? So software engineers that look at scalability, right? So we think, hey, you know what? This other company is not better at us because, hey, just this is the reasoning it's given for why Ellen believe this is more scalable. I don't believe that. So with that, you can select this, and whatever you select shows up in the action center here. So it
Oh,
tells you that, for this criteria, this persona, this was the top recommendation. Why were they the top recommendation? What do they know about you, right? And so based on this data, what you can do is you can actually create. Either you can add a section on your website, you can add maybe an entire page on your website, you can start a PR campaign, you could change profiles on review sites. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. Like, it tells you what information needs to be added to your web presence,
got it.
right? So yeah, this is my favorite feature. Now with this, you can now do so many things. Hey, what exactly should I do as a next step? This shows you for every one of them. Guruya, should I show an example? What do you want me to do here?
Yeah, yeah. Like let's look at more examples.
So, okay, let's say if I open the lovable app, right, that I had made a while ago,
Yeah.
we found that, hey, we believe that Chosenly has a really good support. So we
Okay.
could have done something like this. We could have made an entire support page that talks about what our support looks like, how fast we respond, how our support compares to others. And here we are adding more information to our web presence that shows that, hey, our support is better than everyone else's,
Got it.
right? Another thing we could do is we could also talk about, hey, you know what, apart from just our support, because that's something that we are adding right now, we can also say that, hey, you know what, maybe in our pricing our ROI is better. So there we could talk about, hey, how we spend the money, or when you spend money with us, what does that look like, where do we spend that money, how the ROI is better. We can add a just section on your pricing page. Or another thing we could have done with this is we could even do an entire PR activity, right? So an example PR mockup that I had made was this. And you could add something like this to your web presence that talks about how good our support is. We could, again, as I said, you can even go ahead and change your profile. So, and even and chosenly in the symbol search model also tells you which PR sites are frequently being picked up by LLM. So even what PR sites to put this PR on is also an insight that you get from us. So you
Got
get
it.
exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are, who's the top recommendation, what you could, let's say, then you can speak with your internal teams, figure out what to do there, and then actually put this information in front. There's one more interesting example. So there was this IAM, Identity Access Management SaaS, that had that in that industry integrations are very important. We were
Okay.
discussing with them. What Chosenly discovered is that, hey, they just haven't mentioned their integrations upfront, so it wasn't there in the navbar or the footer. So LLMs were not able to pick up. But if you think about any of the examples I've given, this is what product marketing should have been. Even
Right.
if you completely forget about LLMs, this is the information that like looking at sales, looking at what customers want a look at when making a purchase decision is basic product marketing step one. Making sure all of that is front and center on the website. Just another conversation I had with just yesterday, we went to a client's company. They said that, yeah, we have all of this information on sales battle cards. I have no idea why we have never put it on the website. So product marketing did their job till creating the sales battle cards, and for some reason it never reaches marketing communication, which again is just like a big miss. So this is honestly, yes, very useful, like the second half of showing up on LLM search, but also it is the should have been the entire job of product marketing. So now you're getting an excuse, or product marketing is getting an excuse to get more resources, get more focus on these activities and more value to these activities that they should have been doing in the first place anyway. That's why it's just my favorite feature by far.
It might just be mine too now, but yeah, thank you. Yeah.